Okay, so for today we're going to talk about the equation of a circle. To write the equation of a circle, we have to know the center and the radius, and then we can just put it into the standard form of the circle. Looking here at this diagram, we can see that the center is denoted with an HK. The H is going to be the x-coordinate, the K is going to be the y-coordinate. The equation of the circle, we can see that we have the right triangle here. So if we look at this as kind of the leg 1 of the right triangle and leg 2 of the right triangle, we can see that to find r, the radius, we can say x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, because that comes from the Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to give you a little bit more guidance with that. Let's talk about what our goal for this is. We're going to learn to find the standard form of the equation of a circle through doing examples in practice, and then we're also going to do a graphing portion of this lesson as well. A circle is a set of points in the xy plane that are a fixed distance r from a fixed point hk, where hk is the center of the circle and r is the radius. Basically, that is just saying that we got a point somewhere on the xy plane, and we can call that the center of a circle, and we pick a radius. And then all the points that are that exact distance away from the center, that's a circle. So the standard form of a circle is we have the center at hk, and so we would have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where r is the radius of the circle. So for this example, we're going to write the standard form for the equation of a circle with the center at 3 and -2 and a radius of 4. So we always start with the x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. The only thing we're going to substitute in is the h and the k, okay, and the r, obviously. So the x-coordinate right here is a 3, and we're going to just put that in for h. And then for k, we have -2, and we're just going to substitute this in. Notice, though, that we have a positive 3 here, and when we put it in here, it looks like it's a -3. And we have a -2, so when we put it here, we end up with 2 minus signs. Okay, so when we do that, it changes the sign. Then we plug in the 4 for the radius, and we have 4 squared. So ultimately what we end up with is x minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 16. So something that we can just, that I do tell students just to kind of remember, is that when you're putting the center into the standard form of the equation of a circle, you're going to change signs. Okay, you're going to change signs. So if it's a positive 3, it's going to be a -3. If it's a -2, it's going to be a +2. The radius always gets squared. So 4 squared is equal to 16. 16 is not the radius. We can look at the circle and we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to be the radius. Let's look at example 2. We're going to write an equation of a circle with center at -4, 0, and a diameter of 10. So we've got to remember that the diameter is twice that of the radius. So if the diameter is 10, that means that the radius is going to be equal to 5. So we have our h, we have our k, and we have our r. So we start off with x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. When I put in the -4, I got x minus -4 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 5 squared. Now again, we have to change signs. We had that minus minus, so that gives us the +4. If I have y minus 0, I don't have to write it because subtracting 0 doesn't change what y is. And then we have 5 squared. So with 5 squared, we end up with 25. So the new equation of our circle, or the equation of our circle, is x plus 4 squared plus y squared equals 25. Example 3, same thing. Now, please do not let the radicals scare you. We can just let the calculator do the hard work for you on that. That's one thing that does not need to intimidate you. So, for here we want to write the standard form of the equation of a circle. We have the center at 2 and -9, so that's our h and k, and the radius is the square root of 11. We don't know the square root of 11. We can estimate it. We can get a approximation, but that's not an exact radius. So that's why we keep it in this form. We have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we plug in the h and we plug in the k. So you have x minus 2 squared plus y minus 9 squared equals the square root of 11 squared. Now, I will say this, parentheses do save lives. You have to put parentheses if you're going to use your calculator. Put parentheses around the square root of 11. If you just square, if you put the power of 2 on the wrong part of that, it will not come out to what you're wanting it to come out to. So please be careful with your exponents in that case. After we finish simplifying this, we have x minus 2 squared plus y plus 9 squared equals 11. Okay, so again, remember with the center, we got to change the signs when we put them into the standard form of the equation. So what happens if I have the standard form of the circle and I want to know what the center and the radius is? Well, we just got to do the opposite of what we were doing when we were putting it in. So if I have x minus 6 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 25 squared, well, I know that I got to change signs when I put it in, so I got to change the signs when I take it out. So the center here, because I have x minus 6, is going to be 6, is my h. And since it's plus 3, k is going to be minus 3. 25 squared. I'm going to take the square root. So 25 is going to be my radius. If I'm looking at example 5, it says find the center and radius and the equation of the circle. So for here we can see that the center is at 0, 0. The radius is 12. We can figure this out just by counting. So I'm just going to pick a spot right out here, and I can see that it's going through 12, 0. And then the equation is going to be x squared plus y squared equals 144. Because the center is 0, 0, I don't have to write it. If I subtract 0 from any number, it doesn't change it. And then 12 squared is going to be 144. Looking at number 6, it says find the center and radius in the equation of the circle. So the center, okay, it looks like the center is going to be about right in here. Okay, it looks like it's going to be at 1, negative 3. Okay. And again, when you're looking at the graph, you're not going to be given some crazy graphs. You're going to be able to kind of see. I always look for the horizontal and the vertical that kind of halves the circle and then kind of meet in the middle that way. Sometimes it takes me a couple of tries. My radius here is going to be 7. So if I'm looking at 1, negative 3, and I count out to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how I can find my radius right here. And so therefore, I have my h, I have my k, I have my r. So when I plug these in, I have x minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 49, because 7 squared is 49. And then graph the circle and then identify the center and the radius. So looking here, I can see I have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. So my center, I just got to change my signs. I have a minus 3 and a minus 2, so I'm going to end up with 3, 2. To find the radius when I've been given the equation, I have to take the square root. I have to square it when I put it in there, and I have to square root it when I take it out. Okay, so my radius is going to be 3. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do my best to graph this on this graph here. I am not good at this anyway, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so there's my center. And then my radius of 3. You guys are really going to be very impressed with these drawing skills here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. It's going to look more like a square when I'm done, but just imagine that it's round. Okay. Okay, so this is really bad, but you get the idea. Hold on. Let me see if I can find something else that'll work. Okay. So now let's see if I can make it. Okay, there we go. So it's okay if yours looks like the blue. I'm not going to have higher expectations than I do of myself. But I did kind of cheat and use the circle that's in this program. I'm going to post some practice along with this. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email.